Today we are going to tell you about Mr. James Hardin. He was an American airman who fought in the Second World War. James was born on the 11th of February 1922 and grew up in Columbia, Missouri, and he was one of the 10 children. He had 8 brothers and 2 sisters. James and his brothers all served in the forces. One was in the army, one was in the navy, and the others, including James, was in the Air Force. James's mummy was even the Mother of the Year, as she had the most sons in the forces during World War II. He flew in an aeroplane called the B24 Liberator from Seething in Norfolk.
The B24 Liberator was a heavy bomber carrying a crew of 10 men, and its engines could carry to the height of 28,000 feet. That's over 5 miles high. It could fly 1,600 miles or fly from Norwich to Berlin and back.
Its main role was to carry bombs, and this aircraft could carry 3.6 tons, which is the weight of a forward transit van. James was a part of the 715 bomb squadron. The aircraft that James was a part of was called the Repulser.
On board Repulser, James had 9 other people with him. They were William S. Davis, nose turret gunner; William H. Durant, waist gunner; Chester J. Romansky, radio operator; Carl E. Spellman, tail gunner; Maynard H. Young, waist gunner; Eugene V. Pulcipher, pilot; Elmer P. Mercier, co-pilot; William Carcelli, Bombardier; George S. Hara, navigator. This diagram shows where all the crewmates sat in the B24 Liberator. James was the flight engineer at the top turret gunner. The engineer made sure that the engine and all of its aircraft systems kept working when it was flying. When he was not looking after the engines and fuel, he manned the top turret. The turret contained 2 machine guns. The diagram shows where he worked. On the 22nd of April 1944, James and his crew took off from Seething to bomb a city in western Germany called Ham. The target of the day is the railway.
What made this mission different from any other was the takeoff time.
Why was this a problem?
Well, during the war, the United States Army Air Force flew by day. They used their formations of aircraft and their guns to protect themselves from the enemy. The Royal Air Force flew by night, and that was their protection from the enemy. After bombing the target, the aircraft all turned for home. James and his crew did the same, but as they were so late, they were one of the last aircraft to turn.
The Germans saw an opportunity and had their night fighters take off. James' plane was mortally wounded, set on fire, and crashed outside Suffolk village, Kesselland.
All 10 men on board were killed. Today, the men of the Repulser are remembered in Kesselland village churchyard with their own memorial stone placed in front of the main memorial. As for James, he is buried in the American Cemetery at Medinley, Cambridge.